United We Start. We explore the New World Order, finance, science, health, and other subjects in our group discussions of activists, bloggers, authors, and other leaders in the independent media to inform and educate listeners on various topics. Join us the second Saturday of the month at 10 to 12 a.m. Pacific Time, 18 to 20 hours GMT. Looking forward to meeting you. So we are back here in our second hour of our roundtable discussion at United We Start. Just for your information, this is our first live show. United We Start has just been started, right? And we have introduced ourselves in the first hour, so if you missed that and you just tuned in, you can listen to the rebroadcast right after the live show. And I will also mention that in this second half of this discussion, we will have a special guest coming on in the second half an hour, which is Sheriff Mack, and Matt will introduce him later. So we were finishing sort of the thought, we are discussing things here, the thought of the pedophilia influence on corruption or corrupting members of big corporations, politicians, banksters, and so forth. That was our last thought on that. Is there anything to add? Michael, did you want to say something to that?
Well, basically, as I mentioned in the break in between, I said that it's very essential that we realize that these spiritual forces are real. You can experience them, you can feel them. And actually, it was an assault of these Ahrimanic forces to put our mindset in such a direction that we rule the spiritual forces out. And it has been going on since about 600 years, since the 1400s, where through this kind of philosophical developments and through the realism, so to speak, people took away, they were not got unaware, yeah, that's it, of the spiritual reality. And we again have to reestablish that spiritual reality. And we have to feel that every thought, every feeling, and every action that we do is creating the work world. And in the mystics, the work world is the world that surrounds us. And it's made up out of our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions. So everything that surrounds us, may be good or evil, is a thought product, so to speak, out of our own activities. So every thought weighs and counts, and every feeling weighs and counts. And we are here in this world we are being on the battleground. This battleground between good and evil is taking place. It's taking place now here. And people, they think since so-called democracy, since the French Revolution, that all evil forces are on vacation, basically. So they are still there in these forces. We are being led by a corrupt cabal against human proper development that we have to be aware of. What they want is to make a junk planet of this earth and make it a happy living place for demons. That is their intentions.
I wanted to echo what Michael was saying, or kind of agree with that. You know, if my belief system, or the way I think, is that, you know, we are all part of this thing, and if you want to give it a name, let's call it God. If you want to call it the Force, fine. But whatever we think, we create. So if we create bad thoughts, we create a bad world. We create good thoughts, we create a good world. And I've been a student of ufology, study of UFOs, since I was a little kid. And there's this interesting case for you, Detlev, and Michael, of Switzerland, a guy in Switzerland called Billy Meyer.
Mm-hmm.
And he supposedly has been in contact multiple times with these alien beings. They look very human, but he's had contact with them. And what they teach him from their perspective is that, we create the world we believe we are in. So if we have better thoughts, we create a better world. So it's not just us here on this planet. If you take Billy Meyer's story to be credible, then this is also what the aliens believe, and they're trying to teach us. So people like us here sharing this kind of information to educate and inform and maybe inspire people, hopefully we're sending that energy out to our audience, and then they can retransmit that via knowledge to their friends, families, and neighbors, and with a little bit of love, so that we can create a better world. And the spiritual battle that we're fighting will turn out for the better.
Ellen, what's your thought on that?
Well, just to add to what Matt said there, I think we are going through changes at the moment on a planetary level. Something that we had a quick chat about before we went live regarding the New Earth. There seems to be an awful lot of talk about that. Dolores Cannon, who's a regressional hypnotherapist, talked about this on a regular basis. She heard it on numerous occasions from her clients. And we interviewed a lady called Alba Weinman, who puts all her cases, all the clients that she actually does regressional hypnotherapy on YouTube. So you can type in Alba Weinman on YouTube, and you'll see all the people doing their regressional hypnotherapy, talking about what they're seeing. And a lot of people are beginning to experience different symptoms and portals opening up and energies changing and time lags and time changes. And so there's an awful lot going on at the moment. And this energy from the center of the galaxy, there's supposed to be a wave. There's even talk about this, and there's a number of people throughout history have mentioned this as well. Edgar Casey, I think, mentioned this as well, about a wave that's going to hit the planet, which will be part of the awakening, because Gaia, Mother Earth, is a living organism, and Gaia is changing. Now, if you think about that, if only 1/3 of people on the planet are organic and the rest are synthetic, clones and all that kind of stuff, because that's another thing we can go into, then there's people kind of losing the plot because they're not vibrating at the right frequency. We're changing. If we're organic, we're adapting and changing to the frequency that Gaia is changing to, and we're going with the flow. But there's people out there who are not organic and they're synthetic, and they're not they're reacting to it very badly. And we've heard through the elites, again, it's all speculation at the moment, but a lot of elites, or maybe ETs, or maybe Draco, reptilian, are leaving the planet because they can't deal with the energies that's hitting the planet at the moment. It's speculation, because I've no physical proof. I wasn't there. I didn't see it, so I don't know. I'm just going by what people are saying generally on the internet. But there's definitely energy changes. I know I'm feeling it, and have felt it, and I know Steve has felt it. So, and we kind of deal with what we can deal with on a day-to-day basis and what we experience. So there's something definitely going on. So, Detlev, if you want to jump in and give us your opinion on that.
Yeah, I think so too. I have lots of people here who are telling me that they are feeling changes, that it hurts really, or at least makes them feel miserable during these changing processes. And they also have the feeling that something with the earth and with everything involved is developing. So yeah, I'm a strong believer in that as well, and I'm hoping for it, because it's the only way to get out of this mess here. We all have to develop, and that's what they try. I mean, Michael said this earlier on. They try to prevent that we are developing ourselves into a real consciousness, so that we can work on our own development and identify what we have to do, and especially strive for love, which is the highest frequency. So
yes,
they try to prevent this. And is that correct, Michael?
Yeah, completely. It's correct. But one thing I wanted to say is that our separateness, that is the part of materialism, that we feel separate. We are not separate. We are part of this earth. We are actually existentially connected to the earth and to the whole cosmos. And our deep parts of our soul, it knows that we are part of the sun, part of the other planets, part of God. God created a macrocosm, and when we are in alignment with this macrocosm, then we feel ultimate happiness, and we thrive in our development. And this separateness, that is what the demonic forces say. You are separate. You're not part of it. That's atomization. And that's part of that battleground. Once we realize that we are part of God and we have a connection and a flowing connection to Him, then our soul feels happy and in alignment with the whole cosmos. And that is the ultimate happiness that exists. If you're aligned with the forces in the cosmos, you don't need anything. Everything is there. But these negative forces, they want to separate us. They want to put a layer of sand or a layer of distraction in between so that we don't have that kind of a feeling. And our social life, our, the invention of money and all these kind of things, what happened, it is all leading us astray. And this proper development, what should take place. And we again have to establish a basis. And that's why I mention, for instance, the mystics or the Rudolf Steiner, for example, which he given a path through meditation, through certain exercises to align ourselves again to these macrocosmic forces. And our mind, we have to question our mindset. I mean, part of the mystic training is, when I have a thought, then I think, is it me that thinks this thought or something else? So our whole modern thinking is basically fucked up by the zeitgeist, by this Ahrimanic zeitgeist that already puts his biased thought in our mindset. So we cannot grasp reality. And that's what we have to work. And I think the only way we can do it is to realign to our spiritual roots. And that means go backwards. So all these so-called civilizational kind of situation that happened with invention, with money, all the modern kind of developments, we have to think, is it really essential? Do we need it? Can we do without it? And what and how much we have to accept? And we have to go over that, over that whole calculation.
We have to survive in the physical world. So we have to exchange our services for some kind of means of exchange, and money is always going to be there. But I think you make a great point, though, about setting that aside and setting aside other assumptions so that we can go back to our spirituality. And I think a real barrier to that for mankind is organized religions, and we've got tons of them, and some of them are ancient, some of them are new, and they're all creations of man trying to find their spirituality. But when it turns out in the end, what organized religions actually do is to stunt the growth of you spiritually and control you into thinking within this little tiny box, and that's what religions are. And if you exercise the ability to look over that box, you're pulled back in by groupthink. So I think we have to set aside our religious beliefs and then go back to see where we are as spiritual beings, because I think you're right going down that direction, Michael.
Yeah, I think that's right. I just want to make a short point. That's spiritual path, because if you were so to speak, I make it very simple. If you were the devil, where would you try to interfere first? In your religious life, into religious organizations, in spiritual groups, because that's the crucial point. You would try to influence that. That's only the one thing I wanted to mention in between.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alan, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I just think that we have to look at ourselves. We have to become self-aware. It's not just about being aware. It's something that we we when we did we did the basis conference, we did the talk at the basis conference, and we're doing another one in Waterford, the Open Minds conference. We talk about it's not just about being aware of what's going on. We have to be self-aware. So we become aware of what's going on in the world, and then we become self-aware of who we are as a person, as a spiritual being experiencing life through physical form. And then when you look at who we are, then you have to say, okay, we are spiritual beings, we're energy. We have to know about, negative energy. And as you said, Detlev, love is a higher frequency. Love and fear, which vibration do you want to work on? And you focus on the love. But we have to look at the meaning of life. We have to ask ourselves, what is the meaning of life? Why are we here? And the movie, The Bucket List, is a very good movie because at the end of it, he really nails it on the head. And the other thing is that what's our intention when we do something? What's our intention? Are we doing it for the selflessness of helping somebody, or are we doing it for material greed or possession, or something just for us? So I think energy has so much got to do with it, and I call it the karmic boomerang. If you throw out the positive energy like a boomerang, that positive energy will come back because it's for every action there's a reaction. All right. So if you throw out negative energy, well, negative energy comes back. That's how I see the science of it. And we've had people on the show like Ralph Ring, who was a protege of Otis T. Kerr, who was a protege of Nikola Tesla. And he's an expert in natural law, and he said he agreed with karma because it's energy. So I think we have to be, as Michael said, we have to be aware of our energy and what we think and what we put out there, and obviously our intent in what we do, and it's about helping people because that karma comes back to us, that energy comes back.
Yeah, interesting thoughts. Yeah, absolutely.
I would agree. The energy you put out will come back to you, and you can watch it happen. Real funny. Well, I don't want to call it funny because she got hurt. But there was a recent incident where here in America, Amazon delivers packages and leaves them on your doorstep. And we have people stupid enough to go around neighborhoods looking for boxes on porches, and they run up, take them, and drive off. Well, this couple pulls up to this house, and they have a surveillance camera on the porch watching. And the lady jumps out of the car. She runs up to the porch, grabs a couple boxes, and turns around and starts running back to the car. And on her way back, she slips, and it looks like she breaks her ankle or twists it really badly to the point where she couldn't get up, and she's crying for help. So the guy comes out of the car, carries her, and puts her back in the car. Get this. Instead of just leaving the boxes, he ran back to the porch and got those drop boxes and went back in the car and took off. And the way they presented it on the local news website was karma ? But that's one illustration of what karma could be.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's why intention is very important. And people say, well, some people do things and they don't seem to get the karma. The karma will come back around. When the time is right and the energy is right, the karma will come back around, because you can't be throwing a boomerang and it not coming back. The energy, you throw out negative energy, if again it goes, for every action there's a reaction. And I've seen karma come back to people down the line, and that's just the way it is. And I've also applied the positive side. When you do positive energy and put the positive energy out there, and you're helping people in a non-selfish way, and you're just helping people for the good of your heart, that energy just comes back. It's amazing. It really is amazing. And if more and more people, if we had a society of 100 people who are egotistical, negative, greedy, selfish, they're not going to last very long. But if we flip that and we have a society of 99 people saying, hey, Detlev, hey, Matt, hey, Mike, hi, Michael, what can I do for you today? And there's 99 people asking you how they can help you in a really unselfish way. Imagine the society we would be in.
They had, again at the Olympics last night, the closing song was Imagine, the John Lennon song sang by Korean vocalists. And that's exactly what you're saying, Alan, is, imagine that we're all one people and we can share love with each other versus hate and violence like these Antifa groups or these Black Lives Matter groups, that negative energy only serves to divide people. But people listening to us and here today, I'm hoping, can take this idea, pay it forward, good karma, whatever it is, and spread good energy and love in your life so it helps us create a better world. And I think that is part of the spiritual battle as we fight for freedom against tyranny, like Michael was saying.
Yeah, definitely. We have to. It's good that we put it out there. This divide and conquer is what the Cabal do, and problem, reaction, solution, the Hegelian dialectic. That's what they do, and people have to be made aware and not to put their opinions or assumptions on other people. We hear all the time, oh, I don't believe that man would kill that person, or I don't believe he'll do X, Y, and Z. Well, we cannot put our morals on other people because, it's like putting morals on Hitler, or, Mengele, Joseph Mengele. You can't put your morals on other people. There are psychopaths out there because there is a difference between organic people and organic and synthetic, and we have to and people have to be aware of that. And I just want to quickly mention the 5 things that the Cabal try and manipulate. I remember the last one is drugs, sex, money, religion, and politics. They will look at you and go, how can I manipulate this person? Which one of them is he or she into that I can manipulate? And if you don't have any of them little voices, then if they really want to get to you, obviously that's where the blackmail comes in.
I wanted to mention a point off of your comment there, Alan, and talking about karma. Even if karma doesn't exist, and even if you don't believe it, just imagine a world where we're all respectful and kind and loving to everyone, and everyone is kind and loving back to us. If just for that fact, wouldn't it be a better world to live in?
Oh, totally. And, and I do agree with you, Matt. There's people out there who don't have a belief in karma. And it's like, I always say to them, right, okay, so let's pretend you don't believe in gravity and you walk off the building. Do you think gravity is going to give a damn whether you believe in gravity or not? No, you're going to walk off the building and you're going to fall. So karma doesn't really care whether you believe it or not. It's a universal law. So, it does, I feel anyway, it does happen. And I've been convinced enough times to know that it's there. But again, everybody has to do their own research. We're all on a path of knowledge. Some people are further down the road to others. So we respect each other's knowledge and we just keep learning. That's really what it's about.
Yeah, we are ready now for the break. So please stay tuned. We will have another song here from Poker Face, Freedom's on the Run. And after that, we will join in and welcome Sheriff Mack if we can get him into our conversation. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. UnitedWeStart, fighting for freedom. A group discussion of activists, bloggers, authors, and other leaders in the independent media to inform and educate listeners on various topics. Join us the second Saturday of a month, 10 to 12 a.m. Pacific Time, 18 to 20 hours GMT.